Be me, Jake, 35, software engineer who moved to Honolulu 8 months ago for a job at a tech startup. Decent looking, hit the gym 4 times a week, made good money, should have had my shit together. But I didn't. My ex, Sarah, dumped me 6 months before the move. We'd been together 2 years. Her exact words when she left, "Jake, you're a great guy, but you never take charge of anything. I feel like I'm dating a really nice roommate." That messed me up more than I wanted to admit. I grew up the only boy with 3 older sisters in Portland. Learned early to just shut up and listen. My dad died when I was 12. Heart attack out of nowhere. After that, it was just me and a house full of women. I learned to be quiet, not make waves, ask before I did anything. Thought that made me respectful. Turns out, it made me boring. Hawaii was supposed to be a fresh start. New job, new city, new me. I'd been on maybe 6 dates since moving. They all went the same way. Good conversation, decent vibe, then nothing. Ghosted. One girl told me I was too nice. I didn't even know what that meant. My co-worker, Diane, noticed I was struggling. One day at lunch, she said, "My friend's a dating coach." She's amazing. Teaches guys how to actually respect women in the modern dating world. I was skeptical. A dating coach? Trust me, Tony changed my friend's life. He's engaged now. That was enough. I was desperate. I found Tony's website that night. Professional headshot, testimonials, a whole framework called Empowered Masculine Dating. Her bio said she specialized in helping men unlearn toxic patterns and build authentic connections. First session was $200. I booked it. Her office was in a small building near Waikiki. Minimalist decor, lots of plants, motivational quotes on the walls. Tony was maybe mid-30s, confident, dressed like she had her shit together. She had this way of talking that made everything sound obvious and true. "So Jake," she said, sitting across from me with a notebook, "tell me what brings you here." I explained. The breakup, the failed dates, feeling like I was doing something wrong but not knowing what. She nodded slowly. "You've been conditioned by toxic masculinity. Women today want emotional availability, not aggressive pursuit." "I mean, I'm pretty emotional," I said. "My ex said I was too passive." "That's internalized patriarchy talking through her." Tony's voice was firm. "She wanted you to perform dominance. That's her trauma, not your failure." I didn't totally understand, but she sounded so sure. She pulled out a printed handout. "Here's what we're going to work on. 5 core principles. Never approach women in public spaces. It's predatory and makes them uncomfortable. Always ask explicit consent before any physical touch, even hand-holding. Let women lead the pace and direction of dating. Don't assume anything. Prioritize emotional labor over physical attraction. Women want to feel safe, not objectified. If she initiates intimacy, verbally check in at every stage. Enthusiastic consent is non-negotiable." "This feels like a lot," I said. "It is," Tony agreed, "because you're unlearning years of harmful conditioning. It'll feel uncomfortable at first. That's normal." I paid her $200. Before I left, Tony walked me to the door. "Jake, I can tell you're a good person," she said, hand on my shoulder. "You just need to unlearn some things. Most men never even try." She seemed sincere, like she actually believed she was helping. That made me trust her. I drove home with the handout on my passenger seat, feeling hopeful for the first time in months. That weekend, I matched with a woman on Hinge. Her name was Claire, 28, worked in marketing, liked hiking. We messaged for a few days, then met for coffee in Kailua. The date went well. She laughed at my jokes, touched my arm twice while talking. When we finished our drinks, she suggested walking along the beach. Good sign, right? We walked. The sunset was perfect, the kind of shit you see in postcards. Claire stopped to take a picture. When she turned back, she was standing close. Real close. "This was really fun," she said, smiling. "Yeah," I said. My brain screamed kiss her, but I heard Tony's voice. "Let women lead the pace." Claire leaned in slightly. I panicked. Would it be okay if I hugged you? I asked. She blinked. Sure? The hug was stiff. She pulled back quickly. We said goodbye. She texted me that night. Had a nice time. Take care. That was it. No second date. I told Tony about it in our next session. You did everything right, she said. Claire wasn't emotionally mature enough to appreciate a man who respects boundaries. She seemed pretty into me, I said. If she was, she would have texted again. You dodged a bullet. I wanted to believe her. I paid another $200. 2 weeks later, my uncle Rico called. He was flying in from Maui for a contracting job, asked if he could crash at my place for a week. Rico was my dad's younger brother, 60, built like a bear, drank too much beer, said whatever the hell he wanted. Yeah, of course, I said. He showed up with a duffel bag and a case of Heineken. That night, we ordered pizza and caught up. Eventually, he asked how dating was going. It's okay, I said. I'm working with a coach. Rico stopped mid-bite. A what? A dating coach. She helps guys. The fuck do you need a coach for? He wasn't being mean. He genuinely didn't understand. You're a good-looking kid. You make decent money. What's the problem? I don't know, man. I keep screwing things up. Like what? I explained the coffee date, the hug thing. Rico stared at me. You asked permission to hug her? Yeah. And she said sure. Yeah. But she didn't text you again. Right. Rico set down his pizza. Jake, listen to me. You're paying someone to make you unfuckable. What? No. I'm not trying to be a dick, but you asked a girl who was clearly into you if you could hug her. That's not respect. That's fear. Women want a man who acts like a man, not a butler asking permission to exist. I got defensive. You don't understand modern dating. Things are different now. Rico shrugged. Maybe. But you're still single, and I was married for 30 years, so? I didn't want to hear it. Rico was old school, he didn't get it. But that night, I kept replaying the beach. Claire leaning in, me asking for a hug, her face when I did. Maybe he had a point. I saw Tony 2 more times over the next month, spent another $400. She kept reinforcing the same principles. I kept trying. Date number 2 was with a woman named Lena. We met at a bar in Honolulu. She approached me, actually, which Tony said was ideal. When women initiate, they're showing clear interest, she'd told me. That's the healthiest dynamic. Lena was funny, confident, a nurse at Queen's Medical Center. We closed down the bar talking. Around midnight, she said, You want to come back to my place? My heart was pounding. Yeah, definitely. Her apartment was 10 minutes away. We barely made it through the door before we were kissing. She pulled me toward her bedroom, tugging at my shirt. Then I remembered Tony's rules. If she initiates intimacy, verbally check in at every stage. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it. My hands were shaking. I could feel sweat on my palms. Her perfume, something vanilla, was everywhere. Every instinct in my body screamed to just kiss her, touch her, but Tony's voice was louder. Verbal consent at every stage. Wait, I said, pulling back. Are you sure this is what you want? Lena paused, breathing heavy. Yes? Okay, I just want to make sure you're comfortable. I'm literally bringing you into my bedroom. We started kissing again. She pulled off her shirt. I froze. Is it okay if I touch you here? I gestured vaguely at her waist. Lena sat up. Dude, what is happening right now? I just want to make sure you're consenting. I invited you to my apartment. I took off my shirt. What do you think is happening? I know, but verbal consent is important at every... She stood up and grabbed her shirt. This is the weirdest bloody thing that's ever happened to me. I think you should go. I left, walked back to my car, feeling like I'd been punched in the stomach. I texted Tony the next morning, told her what happened. Her response came an hour later. Lena wasn't ready for emotionally mature intimacy. You did nothing wrong. This is actually progress. You're attracting women who will eventually appreciate your growth. Progress. I'd just been kicked out of a woman's apartment for asking if I could touch her waist, and Tony called it progress. The next day, I went to the gym to clear my head. A guy I'd seen around a few times, Anthony, maybe early 30s, construction worker build, was on the bench next to mine. We'd exchanged nods before, but today he struck up a conversation. "You look like shit, bro," he said, not unkindly. I laughed. "Bad night. Woman trouble. Something like that. I feel you. I was there a few months ago. Then I met Riley and everything clicked." "Yeah? How'd you meet her?" "Farmer's market. Just walked up and started talking. I nearly dropped the dumbbell." "You just approached her out of nowhere?" "Yeah." "Why?" "I thought women hated that." Anthony laughed. "Where the hell did you hear that?" "My dating coach." He stopped laughing. "You have a dating coach?" I got defensive. "Yeah, she's really good. She teaches..." "What's her name?" "Tony." Anthony's face changed. "Oh shit, dude." "What?" "I used to see her." My stomach dropped. "Wait, you?" "Yeah." Worst $1,200 I ever spent. 3 months of sessions. I was more anxious around women after than before. She had me so fucked up I couldn't even make eye contact without worrying I was being creepy. But she said, I know what she said. "I'm telling you, bro, that woman almost ruined my life." I finally just stopped going. 2 weeks later I met Riley, doing the exact opposite of everything Tony taught me. And it worked? We've been together 4 months. I'm happier than I've ever been. I sat there, holding a 45-pound dumbbell, feeling the floor shift under me. "Look," Anthony said, "I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you're seeing Tony, maybe think about what you actually want." Because her advice, it's not designed to help you, it's designed to make you someone she approves of. And that guy gets nobody. He gave me his number before leaving. "If you ever want to grab a beer and talk, hit me up." I went home and looked at my bank statement. $600 to Tony. 0 results. Actually, negative results. I was worse with women now than when I started. That night, Rico asked how things were going. "Not great," I admitted. "The coach still got you asking permission to breathe?" "I ran into a guy at the gym. He used to see her. Said she almost ruined his life." Rico nodded slowly. "And now?" "He's in a serious relationship. Happy? Doing what she taught him?" "No. The opposite." Rico cracked open a beer. "Kid, I'm going to say this once. That woman is selling you shit and calling it gold. You're not broken. You just forgot how to be yourself." "What if myself isn't good enough?" "Your ex left because you wouldn't make a decision about where to eat dinner. Not because you're a bad person. Just be decisive. Stop asking permission for everything. Try it for 1 week. What's the worst that happens?" I thought about it. The worst that could happen was I'd still be single, which I already was. "All right," I said. 1 week. I cancelled my next session with Tony. She texted me 3 times asking if everything was okay. I didn't respond. The following Saturday, I went to a bookstore in Kailua. I wasn't looking for anything specific, just wanted to get out of my apartment. I was browsing the fiction section when I noticed a woman standing a few feet away. She was maybe 32, blonde, wearing a sundress. Pretty. Normally, I would have pretended she didn't exist. Kept browsing. Left. Instead, I walked over. "Have you read this one?" I held up a book I'd never heard of. She looked surprised, but smiled. "No. Is it good?" "No idea. The cover looked cool." She laughed. "That's how I pick most of my books." "I'm Jake." "Amy." We talked for 20 minutes. She was a teacher at a middle school in Kaneohe. Loved mystery novels and terrible reality TV. She mentioned she was grabbing coffee after this. "I'll come with you," I said, not asking, just stating. She paused for half a second, then smiled. "Okay." We went to a cafe down the street. The conversation was easy. Natural. She laughed at my jokes. I didn't monitor her body language or ask if she was comfortable. I just existed. When we finished our coffee, we stood outside on the sidewalk. Amy looked at me like she was waiting for something. I leaned in and kissed her. She kissed back. When we pulled apart, she was smiling. That was bold. Yeah, felt right. Good, she said. I was hoping you would. We went on 3 more dates over the next 2 weeks. Dinner, beach walk, movie night at her place. On the 4th date, she initiated sex. I didn't ask for consent every 30 seconds. I just read her body language, the way she pulled me closer, the sound she made, the way her hands gripped my shoulders. It was natural, intuitive. Everything Tony's rules had killed. Afterward, she curled up next to me and said, "When can I see you again?" "Whenever you want." She texted me the next morning. "Last night was amazing. Dinner tomorrow." I realized something. Tony's rules weren't protecting women. They were sabotaging men. A few days later, Amy and I met up with Anthony and Riley at a bar in Honolulu. They'd become friends of mine. Weird how that happened. Ex-clients of Tony bonding over escaping her bullshit. We were halfway through our 2nd round when I saw her, Tony, sitting alone at the bar, scrolling through her phone, nursing a glass of wine. Our eyes met. She looked away quickly, like she'd been caught. "Who's that?" Amy asked, following my gaze. "Old mistake," I said. Anthony saw her too. "Oh shit, is that—" "Yep." Riley leaned over. "That's the dating coach?" "In the flesh." "She looks miserable." She did. Tony was hunched over her phone, face lit by the screen, completely alone in a crowded bar. A guy approached her, decent-looking, friendly smile. She looked up, said something. He left immediately, face confused. "Did she just reject that guy?" Riley asked. "Looks like it," Anthony said. We watched as Tony went back to her phone, alone again. "Should we say hi?" Amy asked. "Absolutely not," I said. We stayed another hour. Tony never looked over again. When we left, she was still there, scrolling. Over the next month, things with Amy got serious. We saw each other 3-4 times a week. She met Rico before he left. He loved her immediately. "That's a good woman," he told me. "Don't screw it up." I didn't plan to. One night, Amy and I were lying in bed after sex. She propped herself up on one elbow and looked at me. "Can I ask you something?" "Yeah." "When we met, you seemed so confident, but you mentioned you saw a dating coach. What was that about?" I told her everything. Tony, the rules, the disasters, Lena kicking me out, Claire ghosting me, spending $600 to become undateable. Amy listened, eyes wide. "Holy shit," she said when I finished. "That's insane." "Yeah." "You know what would have happened if you asked me for permission to kiss me that first day?" "What?" "I would have thought you were either gay or a serial killer." I laughed. "That's what my uncle said." "Your uncle sounds smart." She kissed my shoulder. "I'm glad you stopped listening to her." "Me too." "What happened to her? Is she still coaching people?" "I don't know. Anthony said her practice was dying. There's some new guy in town. Derek something. Male dating coach. Teaches the opposite of what she does." Amy pulled out her phone and searched. "Oh my God, look at this." She showed me Derek's Instagram. 50,000 followers. Posts about authentic masculinity and confident communication. Comments full of guys thanking him. One comment stood out. "Saw Tony for 6 months and got nowhere. One session with Derek changed everything. Now I'm engaged." Then Amy scrolled to Tony's page. 3,000 followers. Last post was 3 weeks ago. A generic quote about boundaries. Comments were turned off. "Yikes," Amy said. "Yeah." "Do you feel bad for her?" I thought about it. Did I? "No," I said. "She almost ruined my life. and she did it while acting like she was helping me. Amy put her phone down and kissed me. Well, I'm glad you escaped. 2 months after I stopped seeing Tony, Amy and I went to the farmer's market in Kailua, the same one where Anthony met Riley. We ran into them there actually. They were grabbing lunch. Jake, Amy! Riley waved us over. We joined them at a picnic table. The 4 of us were talking, laughing, when I saw her. Tony, walking through the market alone, carrying a canvas tote bag. She saw us, hesitated, then walked over. Jake, she said, forcing a smile. And Anthony. Wow, small world. Hey, Tony, Anthony said, tone neutral. Tony looked at Amy, then at Riley. Are these? I'm Amy. Amy extended her hand. You must be Tony. Jake mentioned you. Tony shook her hand stiffly. Did he? Yeah, the dating coach thing. Tony's smile tightened. She turned to me. Jake, I've been meaning to reach out. I think we ended on a weird note. Maybe we could do a follow-up session. No charge, just to check in. I'm good, Tony, I said. I just think if you'd stuck with the program a little longer. He's doing great, Amy cut in, not unkindly. Whatever he's doing now is working. She leaned over and kissed me. Right there, in front of Tony. Tony's face did something complicated. Her mouth opened like she wanted to say something, then closed. She looked at Anthony. And you're still with Riley? 6 months now, Anthony said. Actually, we just moved in together. Riley held up her left hand. There was a ring. We got engaged last week, she said, smiling. Tony stared at the ring like it was a grenade. That's great. Really great. The word sounded like it was choking her. Thanks, Riley said. Anthony said you helped him realize what he didn't want in a relationship. So, in a way, you helped us get here. It wasn't meant to be cruel, but Tony's face went pale. I should go, she said quickly. Good seeing you both. She walked away quickly, her tote bag swinging. Riley watched her disappear into the crowd. Oh God, was that mean? I didn't mean it like... You're fine, Anthony said, squeezing her hand. She needs to hear it. I watched Tony stop near a fruit stand. She stood there for a moment, staring at nothing, then sat down on a bench alone. She pulled out her phone, scrolled for a few seconds, then just sat there holding it. You think she'll ever figure it out? Amy asked quietly. I don't know, I said. And honestly, not my problem anymore. We finished lunch. Amy held my hand across the table. Riley and Anthony were arguing about where to go next. Some beach versus some hiking trail. Normal couple shit. Happy shit. That night, I was scrolling Instagram in bed. Amy was asleep next to me. I saw that Tony had posted for the first time in a month. Taking a step back to focus on personal growth and realignment. Thank you for understanding. Comments were turned off. I blocked her. Put my phone on the nightstand. Amy stirred and pulled me closer. I thought about the last 8 months. Moving to Hawaii alone. Getting dumped. Feeling broken. Spending $600 to feel more broken. Claire. Lena. The constant anxiety that I was doing something wrong just by existing. Then I thought about Rico's advice. Anthony at the gym. Meeting Amy at the bookstore. Just being myself. Tony wanted to fix me. Turned out I was never broken. I just needed to stop listening to someone who had no idea what the hell she was talking about. Tony's probably still out there somewhere, telling some poor guy he needs to ask permission to hold hands. Maybe she'll figure it out eventually. Realize that her rules weren't helping anyone, not the men paying her, and definitely not herself. Maybe she won't. Either way, it's not my problem. I've got Amy curled up next to me, talking in her sleep about something funny. Anthony and Riley are texting the group chat about their engagement party next month. My job's going well. My apartment doesn't feel empty anymore. Life's good. And I didn't need a coach to get here. I just needed to be myself and find someone who actually liked that version. Tony can keep her rules. I'm doing just fine without them.